and thank you for choosing Houghton Consulting. Today we're going to go over how to create a blog post. So once you've logged in to your WordPress installation, you're going to go over here to the left-hand side and select Posts and click Add New. The first thing that you're going to want to do is create a title for your blog post. The best approach to titling is to try and find a keyword phrase that people will most likely be typing in to search for the topic that you are speaking about. A lot of times people will type in questions, especially if you're trying to describe how to do a particular thing in your industry. So we could do something like how to cook baked potatoes. A good tool to use for this process, if you have time to do a little bit of research, is the Google Keyword tool. I'll be going over how to use that in another video, but that really helps to provide real-world data on what types of phrases people are searching for and which ones are performing the best. So that's a good reference point for later on. So you can see after you typed in your title, it created a permalink, and your keyword is included in your URL for better indexing purposes on search engines. So after you've created your title, the next thing that you're going to want to do is create your content. So we're going to use the backend editor called the Visual Composer, which is a really incredible and powerful tool for making your pages look really cool. So I'm going to go into how to use that in depth on another tutorial, but for right now, just simply stick with adding a text box. And the way that you edit that is you click on the pencil icon, and it brings you to this WYSIWYG interface, and you can easily edit your content here. And you can also easily add pictures into your content if you choose to do so. For editing words, you have these options up here: bold, center. You can increase the font size. You can change the fonts here. There's a few options. You can change your color. And these are just basic options. You'll want to be able to know how to add a link, which is this little icon here. And then it'll bring up options here. You can just type in your link. And if you want it to open up in a new tab, I recommend you always click that so that people spend more time on your website. You can keep that there, and now that's linked. So we'll save those changes here. So now I have some content for my blog. So after you've created your content, you're satisfied with it, you're gonna want to categorize your content. And when you first start a blog, it's a good idea to just sit down, do a little bit of research, and figure out what your general categories are going to be for your company. And so once you have those figured out, you can enter them into the category section, and I'll go over that in another piece, but they'll show up right here. And then all you have to do is click on the category that you want. You can click on multiple categories, but it's recommended for blogs. The way to approach taxonomy is generally, for the majority of your blog pieces, they should only be included in a single category, because if your users are seeing them in multiple categories, they're going to feel that you're not being very specific about your information. So once in a while, there might be a crossover between two, but there should be no more than that, and usually just one. So you pick whichever category you want to include this in. Leave that there. You can also add a new category down here if there's one missing and you need to do that. So a good way to think about the difference between categories and tags is that categories, if you were to be writing a book, categories would represent your chapters, and tags would represent more of the common keywords that you would have in your chapters. And these are tags are going to be keywords that you are most likely going to be referencing consistently throughout all of your different categories, throughout all of your different articles. So you want these tags to be things that you are including in multiple blog posts. So whatever those might be, you'll have to do a little bit of thinking about that. So below that, you also have the option of a post series. This is kind of an unusual taxonomy option. It's generally for individuals that want to do a really long series about a particular topic that they're not able to just include in 1 to 2 posts. So say you want to write maybe an instructional manual on something that would be maybe almost the size of a book. You could split this up to 5 to 7 posts, and it would be considered a series on how to execute this particular task, maybe building a motorcycle or something like that, or maybe a series on covering a particular story, maybe a political uprising in the Middle East or something like that that goes on for a year or two. That could be an example of a series as well. So once you've made all of your selections there, you'll want to go on to the SEO section. And I'm going to go over this in more detail in another video, but I just wanted to let you know where it is. It's here. You're also going to want to set your featured image. And this is the image that's going to be associated with your blog post when your blog post is linked to through other networks like Facebook and LinkedIn, so that there's a visual representation associated with your blog post. That's very powerful. And if you have time to include images, I highly suggest it. So the formatting section up here, I'm actually going to cover in more depth in another video because it's a little bit more advanced. But for your last part of publishing a blog post is the publishing section. So you have a couple of options. You can either save it as a draft or you can publish it here. And I'm going to go over in another tutorial how to schedule your blog posts. Thank you.